The first 3 minutes of the first conversation are the most important 3 minutes in the whole relationship. We've got 180 seconds to win before they do a 180 on calling us. 5 things that we must do within the first 3 minutes. Number 1, CPR in 15. Number 2, use their name. Number 3, mirror. Number 4, explain why. And number 5, we've got to make a decision. Less than 10% of every call that I've heard checks every one of these boxes. But if you want to win, these are the keys to winning in the first 3 minutes. Welcome to the Intake Playbook, the podcast where we transform your law firm's intake process into a secret weapon. I'm your host, Gary Falkowitz, and I've spent more than a decade helping law firms across the country maximize their intake performance. If you want to stop leaving cases on the table, create a better client experience, and grow your revenue, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. All right, guys, here's something you need to know. The first 3 minutes of the first conversation are the most important 3 minutes in the whole relationship. Let me tell you why. There was a call. Now, I've listened to tens of thousands of calls in the legal space, and there's one specific call that stands out above many others. Let me tell you what happened. On this call, this claimant checked every box a personal injury law firm could want. It was a serious injury. The claimant was in the hospital. They were rear-ended by a semi-truck. That happened recently. There was clear liability, and the claimant called the law firm. By the way, all that information was relayed almost immediately on this call. On the other side of that call was an intake specialist who was likely just distracted. I can't tell you if it was a primary intake specialist, a backup intake specialist, someone from a call center. I'm not going to speculate on that. What I can speculate on, based upon the responses of this intake specialist, is that she had other things on her mind. Okay. Now, she had other things on her mind. At the 3-minute mark, as if it was done deliberately for me to take note, the caller said, you know what? I got to go right now. I'm going to call you guys back, and hung up. Now, I don't know if the caller was just pissed off that the intake specialist had no interest in speaking with them. I don't know if the caller's spouse was walking into the hospital room. I don't know if the doctor was walking into the hospital room. What I can tell you is that there are certain things the intake specialist did not do in this call. And had they done these things, the caller hanging up the way that he did were very. So I'm going to share with you right now 5 things that we must do within the first 3 minutes of our first conversation with the claimant. Number 1, you've heard me say this, CPR in 15. CPR stands for compassion and proactive reassurance in 15 seconds. Within 15 seconds of someone calling your firm, your intake folks need to be able to say, I am so sorry about what happened, but you did the right thing by calling, because we handle cases just like that every single day. Does it have to be those words? Of course not. But does it need to be compassionate? And does it have to be proactive reassurance? Absolutely. No exceptions. Number 2, we must use their name at least twice. Yes, within 3 minutes, we must use their name at least twice. Why? Because everyone's favorite word to hear on a phone call is their own name. Let them know we are proactively listening, and we're going to use their name because we're not strangers anymore. Because now we're getting close to being an attorney-client relationship, and I want you to know that I heard your name, I'm going to use your name, and I value your name. Got to use the name. Number 3, mirror. What that means is that we should be summarizing the caller's situation so that they know we heard them, and that even after we heard them, we can reassure them that, yes, because this happened to you, this is something we can assist you with. But if we don't mirror what they say, then in the back of their mind, they're not certain we heard everything. It's so important that we're able to repeat the information that they shared with us, because then they know that we're proactively listening and that we care. Number 4, explain why. Why it was a smart decision for the caller to reach out to the law firm, right? Because we don't want the insurance company to take advantage of you, or because we have 100 years experience of personal injury, or because we have 50 attorneys, or because we were just ranked #1 law firm in the world. Whatever it is, we've got to explain why it was such a smart decision for them to reach out to us, right? Then they get to go, exhale and share more information. And number 5, within 3 minutes, we've got to make a decision. That's right. I said it. I just put pressure on you. We must be able to make a decision. Are we going to try to retain you? Are we going to unfortunately turn you down or reject you? Or are we going to try to refer you out? It doesn't matter, but we must make a decision. Remember those decisions, what that is, the 3 R's: retain, reject, or refer. We've got to communicate, convey our intentions within 3 minutes. Does that mean we have to get the case signed within 3 minutes? Of course not. That could take 35 minutes. I don't care how long that takes, but I think and I know that within 3 minutes, we've got to be able to convey our intentions of this call. Now, here's the thing. You need to understand this. Not everyone's doing this. These are the keys to success. Less than 10% of every call that I've heard checks every one of these boxes. And I've heard tens of thousands of calls. Less than 10% checks every one of these boxes, let alone in the first 3 minutes. I'm going to tell you checks every one of these boxes in the whole conversation. But if you want to win, these are the keys to winning in the first 3 minutes. Guys, we've got 180 seconds to win before they do a 180 on calling. It's on you. Thank you for listening to the Intake Playbook podcast. If this episode sparked a new idea or insight, take a moment to screenshot it and post it in the Intake Playbook group on Facebook. Share what resonated with you or what you'd like me to dive into next. Your input helps shape this podcast, and I'd love to hear from you. Let me ask you this. Is your intake process maximizing every opportunity? If not, I created the Intake Masterclass to help. Inside, you'll get access to the tools and strategies I've used to help firms transform their intake process and turn missed opportunities into measurable wins. Plus, you'll join a network of professionals all focused on growing their firms. The ROI you'll see from refining your intake will speak for itself. Visit intakeplaybook.com today and start making every lead count. Thank you again for spending your time with me on the Intake Playbook podcast. Remember, intake isn't just about systems. It's about building trust and creating connections. Keep pushing forward. And if you're looking for more resources or details from today's episode, check out the show notes at intakeplaybook.com. I'll see you there.